Hi, my name is Sheena, and I wanted to talk about something that happened to me the other day. So, there's a point in this, I swear. I want to talk about the fact that we tend to get stuck in the negative of a situation, and our minds consistently stay in that state. So, here's what happened yesterday. As I was driving for Uber, it wasn't yesterday, but it was the day before that I started to notice like a kind of a grinding sound on my brakes. And so I was like, "Oh, okay. So they're getting close." So that's kind of where my mind went. Now, yesterday when I went out and I started working, I noticed that the grinding sound was a lot more distinct. And so with this, I was like, "Okay, so maybe they're just getting a little bit close, that because I have worked on cars, and yes, um I understand the concept of it and everything. I was under the assumption, and this is where I made a mistake in assuming this, that there was going to be some kind of light coming on to show me that the brake pads were close. That's okay. That was my fault, and not fault, I want to say that was my assumption that was an incorrect assumption. So, um, as I'm driving yesterday and I'm seeing it, I finally got out of the car and I finally checked. I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. Just didn't think of it in the moment, Those things that you just kind of like write it off. So, I checked. I was wearing down the rotor. So, not only were my pads like non-existent, they were tearing away at the rotor, and I was like, well, this is not good. I'm already set to go see the mechanic already on Monday for a wheel hub bearing that is in the rear wheel, and that one being causing a noise. Now the brake pads, and I'm like, oh crap. Okay. Um, so I was in the state of mind of where I thought, okay, I have two choices. Now, those two choices are that I can give up and go home and call it a day and say, oh, I can't drive because my brake pads are down and they're already, non existent. I'm already screwing up the rotors. Let's not do any more damage than I'm already doing. That was one option. The second option was say screw it and keep going, because they were already worn down enough as it is, and I still need to pay my bills. That's my job. So, what do you think I did? I chose option two. Granted, I really didn't like it because I am still working through, and I would say like I'm pretty dang close to being done with, because this was my like test. This was my lesson that I was learning in this moment with life. I care. I have like always cared so much what other people think. And that goes along with people pleaser and all of that stuff. So I care what other people think. Not anymore. Not after last night. But I used to. And I was sitting there, every time I would pull up to someone's house or pick someone up, I was just like, the looks on their faces whenever I pulled up with my brakes was so funny because they were just like, like it was like, oh, that's bad. And so when they get in the car, I just made it into a joke. I just kind of was like, so I just want to let you know that my brake pads decided to go completely out on me today. And so that noise that you're going to be hearing is going to be my my used to be brake pads onto my rotors where they are now scraping. So we will be able to stop. Don't worry. I will get you there and you won't die. Okay? And the people's, I even was, it was always kind of different how I explained it. Cause, then I'd add in like, I got to pay my bills somehow. So you got to do what you got to do, and everybody seemed to really understand. And we joked about it. I had some passengers even make the comment, like, what are you talking about? That sounds like bass to me. That sounds like speaker noise. Like, what? And other people were like, oh, that's just white noise. Don't worry about it. Other people, I had other passengers that were like, oh, yeah, I used to drive for Uber too. And whenever that happened to me once, and I just kept driving too. So, I don't care. I had such awesome experiences last night with people because of this, because of it, which, really changed my perspective of caring so much, because we're all struggling and trying to do the best that we can. So, who cares what other people think, And so it was a beautiful lesson that I got to learn through experience, where I could have sat with that and been pissed off about it and, complained and just moaned and groaned. But I already explained to them that I already had a plan, that I was already in the process of taking care of it. I just still needed to work. And so they were just gonna have to put up with it, and I'm sorry, and I'm doing the best that I can to minimize the sound. So that was also a lesson that I learned as well, in the fact that I realized, how much I truly need to adjust my driving, because I do rely on brakes a little bit more than I should. And so it taught me how to, and this is stuff that, I don't want to say should, because that's just not a good word to use, but it's stuff that you learn when you go to driving school and when you do all these courses and whatever else. Like, I learned when I was 16, I didn't really learn anything from my family. My family never taught me really much about driving. My father tried to teach me how to drive a stick shift. I haven't had to ever really use it. So, I know the concept, but it's not something that is a skill of mine because I just don't have to use it. And I also learned how to drive pretty much we would, as a family, be out, and my father would get out of the car and be like, okay, drive us home. And it was like trial by fire, like, God, please let us get home safe. Then there was driving ed, classes in school that I took when I was 16 as well, driver's ed, and reading the book. But, it's really insane how easy it is to get a driver's license in the United States compared to other countries. Because I've talked to other people from other countries in my rides about the extent that they have to take to get their license. And we just kind of give them away like Cracker Jack box prizes here, which is a little bit scary. And it made me realize how much I rely on my brake pads because of the fact that, I don't slow down soon enough to where I don't have to apply that much pressure to the brakes. Also, the fact that, how close I do actually follow people, it really kind of opened me. Like, I knew it, but I wasn't doing something about it. I wasn't accepting it just yet. I just hadn't reached that level of acceptance, you know, because your ego sometimes tells you, like, I'm the best freaking driver out there, you know, whereas you're really not. You know, you still have flaws too. Not saying you're, you know, going to run people off the road, but, you know, you still have areas that you could do better in. So that helped me also see, okay, what are things that I can do to minimize this sound, but are also tactics that I can use further down the road whenever I get my pads and rotors fixed to prevent it from happening again. So the moral of the story really and truly is, when you have these moments, like when you really have crappy moments, like we all get them, when life kind of hands you a bunch of lemons and you're like, well, now what? Find that lemonade. Figure out, make a lemon meringue pie. I don't care what you make with the lemons, just do something with them. You know, don't just complain that you got lemons. Do something. So figure out what the lesson is. Find the blessing. That's my biggest thing. That silver lining. I play myself this like mind game. Like, I play in my mind this game of, how can I see this as a blessing? What am I supposed to learn from this? Like, what am I supposed to get out of this? And, you know, for me, it was just last night. It was, you know, stop worrying so much what other people think. Stop caring. It was awesome too, because I listen to my music on shuffle, and I get my messages. I get a lot of divine messages from my music. I have so much music on there, and that's not even all the music that I have. I'm still downloading, but I'm also weeding through, because there's some songs that I'm just like, ooh, that does not fit anymore, so we're gonna delete that. But I digress. I was listening to my music, and I had 2 songs that really hit a whole different chord. And I want to add to this because of the fact that they're great songs for people that want to get past that people pleaser and that caring what other people think kind of mentality. Music is one of the best ways to get in touch with, you know, our feelings. And I think that these 2 songs will hit a chord and kind of like give you that energy of not caring. You know, like the way that songs are played, we feel what they're feeling and we can feel what they're saying. So listen to these songs and rock out, you know, whatever. They are awesome to listen to. The first one is Low Spirit. He's new to the scene. I love him. He's got a great story. How he's overcoming critical illness, something about illness, that he still writes music, and he's chronic illness. There we go, critical. Chronic illness, and he is still out there singing and still playing and creating music and, you know, fighting for what he wants. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. If you don't know who he is, Facebook, Instagram, I think. I follow him on Facebook. I love him. He's amazing. Some of his songs have hit so deep in so many ways that it's just unreal. But yes, Low Spirit, People Pleaser Anthem is the name of that one. And then one of my oldies, but still a goodie. Man, these guys have got to come back. I'm telling you. I grew up with this band, Limp Bizkit. I love Limp Bizkit. I love them. My Generation. Now, he talks about Generation X and, you know, just our mentality. So, seriously, go listen to those. Go listen to those and tell me that you don't start to like feel that and actually use that energy to change how you see things, because we gotta stop, stop being people pleasers, stop caring, just get out there. Right now, this is what I'm doing. This is me pushing past that fear. So I challenge you all to do the same. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me, and have a blessed day.